what we're going to do is we've taken two of our legs and we're going to go down about 6 inches or so and tie a little bit of cordage on there. This doesn't have to be anything fancy, doesn't even have to be lashed. I'm going to just throw it through a couple times just to make sure it's relatively tight. Tie a little knot off of here. This is about a foot and a half of cordage, so it's going to hold that very, very well. Now we're not too worried about this slipping, and I'm going to show you that why in a few minutes. I actually, as far as I know, have made up this design. I've never seen it before, and so we're going to see if it works, because we're really testing out a design as we make it. The second thing that we're going to do, and we're going to show you that in a minute, is to notch out 2 notches on either side of the log. We're going to do that with our saw and our Tom Brown tractor, and these notches go from about the center point down on an angle, and what will happen then is that these will hold the 2 notches, pull them up first, and hold that tight just like that. We're going to do that on both ends. These notches will stop the stool from moving back and forth, and I'm going to show you how we stop that spread in just a few minutes. So next step, we've got one end done, is to take and to notch this end over here. Now on this, I used a bigger piece of wood than I needed to. One of the reasons for that was that I wasn't sure if this was going to work or not, and so if I made a boo-boo, I'd have a little bit of room to move in on. You can make this with any size from about a foot to 6-8 foot long if you want to for a group bench. Then you'd have to put another a leg in the center to keep it from falling or sagging. So what we're going to do is just make this about 1.5 feet wide, and we're going to put the other legs together and we're going to measure our notches and cut them out. Okay? Well, the next step is to measure our second leg, and so we've got it at about the same height here. I'm just going to do the exact same thing. Chris can put that one down. We'll wrap this cord around here a couple times, and then we'll go ahead and close that on there. Again, I'm only using here about, folks, I'm guessing 1.5 foot of cordage. So this doesn't have to be anything that is spectacularly strong. You don't even have to worry about major lashings or anything like that. All you have to do is get it cut to the right angle so that it sits in place. Alright, the next step is to lay our log that's going to be our seat in here and measure out a couple notches the width of these boards. First I'll do this side, and I'll turn around and do the same thing on the other side. And again, can you stand on that? And again, I want these to be right on the edge of that wood, because that notch is going to stop this thing from sliding back and forth like this. Okay? So the next thing we can do is take our legs away. Now we've got our notches measured. And what I'm going to do is to basically imagine a line on the back end right in the center. And I'm going to come from this point down to that center point. And here you get to see this, this saw in action, because this thing really cuts. And that's all I want to do. I just want to go a little bit through, so I'm about half through on that. And again, being that this saw cuts on the back cut, it's really fast. Okay? So I've gone about halfway through. Well, what I want to do now is to take that out of there. The best way to take it out that I've found is to use my tractor. Now you can make a couple other cuts in here, and those cuts will help it to smooth out a little bit. Just an X cut or a V cut. And those cuts will help to take this wood out. But I want to take that wood out now. So we'll get the tractor back out, get our baton, and I'll just put the tractor in here, pop it a couple times, and that popped right out of there. Do it on the other side as well. This wood's a little bit harder. And there you go. Now all that's left to do is to clean this up a bit, and we'll do that with the tractor. Just clean this notch out. Alright, now what we've done, we have set these back into the slots, and you can see that's very sturdy sideways. All that we have to worry about is these bases falling out. So let me show you how to take care of the bases with just a small piece of cord, or if you don't have that, even with a twig or a stick out in the bush. Now in order to stop this from sliding on the bottom, what I'm going to do is just take and put an overhand knot in a piece of cordage, and I'm going to slip that knot through a little slit that I made with my saw on the bottom end of this. I'm going to put that in there, and we're going to tie another knot temporarily right here. We'll go back and fix that once we get it set up. This only takes a second to cut through there, and once I put those up, now that can't slip back. You can see that's not quite wide enough, so as I said, we'll untie that, spread those out to where we want them, and then go ahead and tie that second knot right in that slot. So let me show you how I did that on the other stick. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to line my sticks up the way they are, and I'm going to take and cut a notch in this stick. And when I finish with that notch, I'm going to actually take a little bit off of the end. This doesn't have to be very deep, just down to the tip of the saw teeth. I'm going to take and I'm going to cut out a little piece right here, and that'll hold my knot in place. Widen that up a bit so that my cordage sits underneath of there. And there we go. Do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I'm going to use the foldable quick saw this time to show you this one. One of the things I want to point out on this has two locking mechanisms. It'll lock straight out, or if I'm doing work like this, I can move this backward. It gives me a more level. And what I'm going to do here is just take off these top ends to make this job a little bit neater. Just takes a second here. Get that right off. Do the other one. And again, you don't have to do that, but I like it to be a little neater. So there you go. One camp stool. You can see there's no wiggle side to side because these notches lock that in. And I guess this took about 30 minutes to do the whole project. Great little camp stool. Practice and work out on your project. I want to thank my son for helping me in this video. I want to thank Corona for sending out these saws that I could test these out. Guys, these are great saws and they're very reasonably priced. They're heavy duty and a very good quality. They lock in and they lock out. The handles are all rubber grip on them so they won't slip in your hand. And again, they're made with that treated metal that's going to last a long time. Great little project for you. Benchcraft, Campcraft stool. And we hope you've enjoyed this. Again, you can go with a different type of stool. There's many different things. This is just something that I came up with to see how it would work out. And it worked pretty well. You can see, if Tam can get a shot down here, that these knots will hold those legs exactly in place. So those legs aren't going anywhere. They're not going to open up. So that means that this doesn't have to be lashed very tight. It just has to hold these together. Those notches keep it from going side to side, and it makes a comfortable little seat. This is David Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire. Glad to have you with us for this episode. and hope that you have a great day. Thank you for all of your support. Continue to watch. We'll have more